Chobot. I'm actually a quarter Hodor on my mother's side. And this is Nerdist News.
Hodor!
Okay, my little sparrows, it's that time again. Strap on those tinfoil helms, because we're about to stare into the flames and envision a crazy Game of Thrones theory on today's show. All right, so over the weekend, Nerdist reported on the wild rumor that the actor who plays Thoros of Myr, you know, the Red Priest from the Brotherhood Without Banners, who brought Beric Dondarrion back from the dead, will be returning this season on Game of Thrones. And if Beric's coming back, that all but guarantees a certain undead Stark will finally come into the fold. Y'all ready for this? Spoiler time! Yes, Lady Stoneheart, the vengeful zombie version of Catelyn Stark, seems to finally be on her way to TV since it's Thoros, Beric, and the Brotherhood of Banners that revive Cat in the Song of Ice and Fire books. And for the same reason, this likely also confirms that the Hound will come back, giving us the Clegane Bowl battle between undead versions of the Mountain and the Hound that we have always been waiting for. Hype! But with all the undeading it seems like we're in for this season, we're starting to wonder if it isn't becoming a motif, and if so, it's got us thinking, of course, about one man, Jon Snow. Look, we all know that everyone's favorite bastard is gonna come back to life. That is the worst kept secret in TV history, but what we don't know is what he'll be like when he returns. I mean, we kind of expect him to come back as the dreamy, curly-haired true king of the North, maybe someday teaming up with Dany to be an awesome ruler of Westeros, but in real life, the dead are never quite the same when they come back, as evidenced by what Catelyn Stark becomes, Lady Stoneheart, a walking, talking vengeance machine that just loves to kill, and rightfully so. So what if Jon's return will mean that he's set to become something far darker than he was? What if he's going to be the new Night's King? Boom! I know it's crazy, but hear us out. We know that Bran will be experiencing visions of the past and hypothetical future this season alongside his personal Dumbledore, the Three-Eyed Raven. And according to Bran actor Isaac Hempstead Wright, his ego will quickly swell as his abilities grow, leading him to be able to orchestrate resistance to things that are going to happen. That is pretty huge. But the most exciting revelation from the interview, there was a top secret scene shot in a Belfast soundstage standing in for the Raven's Lair in which we'll see a revelation sure to break fans' hearts. Could that revelation be that Bran's adoptive brother, Jon Snow, will actually lead the dead when winter comes? Now, while that might sound like no more than wild speculation, here's why it isn't. George R.R. Martin loves to point out how history repeats itself in Westeros, and here's what we know about the current Night's King, last seen raising the roof at the Battle of Hardhome. He lived during the Age of Heroes and was a fearless warrior who ruled as the 13th Lord Commander of the Night's Watch shortly after the wall was built. He was a Stark who fell in love with the White Walker, began making sacrifices to the others, declared her his queen, and turned the wall into his kingdom. It was a dark time for Westeros that only ended when another Stark, named Brandon, actually, finally defeated him. So here's where Jon Snow is at. He is a Stark whose lady love, Ygritte, seduced him and made him sympathetic to the Night's Watch's enemy, the Wildlings. This was his undoing and got him killed. We know based on the clips we've seen that at least some forces, Jon's friends and Sir Davos, are trying to keep his corpse from being burned so that he can be revived, but in all likelihood this will just bring him back as a White Walker version of himself. And who will he blame for his death if he comes back seeking vengeance the way that Lady Stoneheart does? The Night's Watch. They killed Ygritte and him. And who are the Night's Watch's enemies now? Will Jon join them and perhaps take the role he's been destined for in order to settle his score? And will Bran eventually have to be the one to kill his brother and defeat the undead once and for all? I mean, that would be pretty heartbreaking as a revelation, and as Ramsay Bolton said, if you thought this was going to have a happy ending, you haven't been paying attention. But what do you guys think? Do you buy our theory? Will Jon become the Night's King? Will his likely Targaryen side help him fight the ice in his veins? Will Bran become a badass warrior king? Let's discuss. And this theory is the brainchild of our very own managing editor of Nerdist.com, Alicia Lutz. Alicia, as with all theories, there's a chance that they're right, and there's also a chance that they're a little off. So what are the odds that you think your theory is right?
Well, you know, the night is dark and full of terrors, so this feels like the most terrifying option of all. So I'm gonna go with, please let it be real. I want it to be real. I love Jon Snow, but oh my gosh, I want him to be bad. bad.
He would be sexy as a bad Jon Snow.
Oh my gosh.
I think sexier than good. But
Yeah.
that's because I'm always like attracted to the evil side.
I mean, the bad guys are kind of the sexiest ones sometimes.
Yeah. We like bad boys. Sweet.
Yeah.
Now you went to the Game of Thrones red carpet and actually got to see the premiere, so no spoilers.
Oh God.
But
okay.
how was it?
Ooh, so good, and I can't talk about any of it, and it's like a problem. Do you know I have had to keep in this secret for over a week, and I have another week where I just can't tell anybody about what the F happens on Game of Thrones. This is my nightmare. I'm living in the best, worst purgatory I've ever experienced.
Awesome! And for more Game of Thrones and more Alicia, head on over to Nerdist.com.
Yeah!